Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good old Morris, yes, at your service, yes. And I'd like to share with you my garden, my rose garden, and I sometimes call it the tropical, yes, the tropical gigolo, yes, the gigolo garden, the tropical gigolo garden, yes, by good old Morris, okay? Yes, good old Morris at your service, and I want you to look at this rose here, which is a Mr. Lincoln. This rose is a very, very highly rated and very highly fragrant rose, and it has a beautiful deep dark red color with just a very velvety, it's a very velvety red, has black tones normally around this time in September, and by the way, this is September 10, I believe, 2017. These roses, they really come into that beautiful dark color. As the summer cools off a bit sometime in September, this is when you will get this very lovely deep dark color on these beautiful Mr. Lincoln rose. This rose is an award-winning Gamble Award and just top rated in the National Rose Society. I forget all the call words, but hopefully you can get the picture of what I'm trying to say here. Definitely, the National Rose Society honors this rose, and it is said that this rose is the most highly requested deep dark red rose. And next to it, we have these lovely Firefighter Roses right here. And what I love about the Firefighter, unlike the Mr. Lincoln, is that these Firefighters, they're fast bloomers, and they grow tall, just like the Mr. Lincoln, and they offer a very beautiful dark red color. And as it spreads out, it picks up its pink hues, very much like this one, this Mr. Lincoln, which is just an outstanding red color. Lovely Firefighter Rose, highly fragrant, very fruity, a very strong and fruity type of fragrant rose. Smells almost like a nice, huge, large pitcher, yes, of good old fruit punch. Just a very fruit smelling, very, very, very beautiful smelling rose. This lovely Firefighter right next to my Mr. Lincoln. And over here, I have these two different roses here. As you see, they are in two separate pots. And these are some really deep, dark, pink, hot pink roses. And I got these roses here really in honor of my mother. Yes, my dear sweet Miss Barbara Jean. My dear sweet Miss Barbara Jean, my dear sweet mother. And this rose is clearly, it's most definitely her favorite. She did not like the red ones at all, or any other color. They had to be deep, dark pink roses. And this is what my mother had in her backyard. And this is what she loved. And I got these roses in honor of her. The first one I would like to show you is this lovely, highly, very fragrant this is the Miss All-American Beauty Rose. Yes. And this rose is a very sweet and fragrant rose. This rose here, this taller one, is an All My Loving rose. And I absolutely love this rose here. This rose is listed as not a very fragrant rose. It's listed as moderately fragrant, but I would disagree. This is a strong fragrant rose here, and it has a very unique fragrance, this lovely All My Loving rose. It produces beautiful, large hybrid tea. And by the way, all of these roses are hybrid tea roses. Hybrid tea are your large, really fragrant showcase type of rose. And this rose is very fragrant right here, and it has this sweet, spicy type of a perfume type fragrance. It's just unlike any fragrance that you could really experience, and it is just a lovely fragrance. Very spicy. It smells like many spices. It has almost this clove type of fragrance, pretty much on that line of a fragrance. Just a beautiful spicy fragrance. and their color. And this All My Loving Rose, Hybrid Tea Rose here, as you see, is taller than this Miss All-American Beauty Rose. They're two separate roses, and they do have different shapes. Both roses have many petals. If you notice, they have a lot of petals, whereas Firefighter also has many petals, but the Mr. Lincoln has fewer petals. This one is just such a highly rated rose. Very slow, a very slow bloomer. The one thing that people don't like about the Mr. Lincoln, especially in these pots, but this rose is famous for being a slow bloomer, but you really don't mind its slow blooming nature, mainly because you just love this rose. It's really probably the highest rated rose, this Mr. Lincoln, as well as this Firefighter. I absolutely love Firefighters because Firefighters is just like many of these other ones. This Firefighter Hybrid Tea Rose is a very fast bloomer, and this thing is going to get you your roses that you want, and that's why I always keep the Firefighter. Beautiful, fruity, strong, fruity fruit punch type of a fragrance mixed with that kind of old rose scent. Just a beautiful rose. But back to these pink ones. This is definitely in honor of my dear sweet mother, Miss Barbara Jean. And these would definitely be the ones that she would have in her garden, and only this color. No reds, no nothing. No pale pinks. It would have to be deep dark pink. So the All My Loving, the tall one, which is a very spicy, sweet, spicy fragrance, unbelievable fragrance. Just really, and then this one here is like an old rose, sweet type fragrance. This Miss All-American Beauty. Just two lovely roses. Okay, let's get over here to my favorite color, and I'm gonna have to redo this video so that you can see this Oklahoma rose here. And this Oklahoma Hybrid Tea Rose, this thing produces these deep, dark, black, red colored hybrid tea roses. This rose is also related to that Mr. Lincoln over there. They were made it the exact same way, and two different roses was produced. This rose is a product of mating the Chrysler Imperial rose with the Charles Maryland rose, or Malloran rose, right? And it produces the Mr. Lincoln and this Oklahoma. And these Oklahomas are a very deep, 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 dark, black, red, very velvety, shiny. And this one is my favorite. I love this color. And when it opens up, you see just how beautiful this rose is. And once it pops, I'm going to be back here to complete this video so that you can see this lovely Oklahoma rose, a product of the lovely Chrysler Imperial Rose Hybrid Tea and the Hybrid Tea Charles Malloran Rose. And look at these deep dark buds. Just a very beautiful, beautiful rose. I'm in love with this Oklahoma. And just like the Mr. Lincoln, it's also a very slow bloomer. Very slow. But you want to always make sure when you have these roses that you never leave dead roses on your rose bush, and you want to always, yes, you want to always make sure that you cut these dead roses off so that it can actually turn the base down here, turn it on, and this is almost like an engine down here. And the more you cut, the more this rose bush wants to produce lovely, beautiful roses, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely Oklahoma rose. This is my favorite color. My favorite color is the deep, deep, deep dark red, or just regular dark red roses like the Mr. Lincoln and the Chrysler Imperial. This is the darkest one of all of my roses here, and ranks among the darkest roses ever, really. It's this lovely Oklahoma rose. Very fragrant. Smells just like the Mr. Lincoln. Beautiful, strong, damask scented fragrant, just like the Mr. Lincoln. I think what is meant by the damask is it has almost, well, I'll say it this way, the Firefighter that I showed you earlier has this strong, fruity, almost like a nice sweet picture of fruit punch, just a sweet smelling, beautiful, fragrant rose. I think the Mr. Lincoln and this Oklahoma smells very similar to that. The only difference is that whereas a Firefighter hybrid tea rose may smell like fruit punch, this one smells like, I don't know, a fruity wine. And I think that might be what is meant by that damask scented. I can definitely tell the difference. They smell very similar to me, the Firefighter and the Mr. Lincoln and the Oklahomas. I would just say that damask scent that this Mr. Lincoln and this Oklahoma rose has is that damask scented, and I think it's that kind of fine wine. Maybe we'll just call the Firefighter a non-alcoholic drink, and we'll call this Oklahoma an alcoholic drink. I think that's what the damask scent means. Over here is a very beautiful rose. This is the Sedona hybrid tea rose. I would advise for everybody to go get one of these. All I wanted was deep dark reds and deep dark pinks, but when I got hip, to this Sedona rose, I had to have this one. This rose, this hybrid tea. This is a very, very, very strong, fragrant rose. This is a very tropical looking rose. It looks like paradise, yes. It looks like the beautiful summer sunset. Sedona, this Sedona hybrid tea rose named after a city out there in Arizona or Nevada, somewhere out there in the desert. And it just has a beautiful sunset color. A very tropical rose, very much like the Tropicana, which is another AAARS, American Rose Society winner. The Tropicana, but I like the Sedona better because it has a much stronger fragrance. And this fragrance is very, very strong, ladies and gentlemen. And you would just love to have it. When you look at it from a distance, this rose has a beautiful glow to it. It has this glow. It is a coral pink, coral red, coral orange, and when it opens up fully, it just turns into this kind of coral pink, this vermilion pink, this beautiful color, this lovely Sedona rose. And once again, the fragrance on this rose is out of this world. It's very strong and seductive. The seductive, lovely Sedona rose over here at Morris's, yes. Tropical Gigilo Gardens, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now we're going to get on over here, and here's a lasting love rose. This is a highly fragrant rose. This rose is pretty much as it is described. It has that old rose fragrance. Yes, the old rose. Not all of these, really sweet type fragrances like what you may see in the Mr. Lincoln or the Firefighter or, many of the other ones. This rose is just a strong rose scent. And as it opens up, that strong rose scent, it mellows and it gets sweeter as it comes to the end of its growth. Just a very strong rose, strongly fragrant. And here's another Mr. Lincoln here. This thing is huge. And here's a rose here that's ready to pop. It'll pop in a few days. I've got this little tiny one here. I think the cold freeze kind of made these go limp, but hopefully they'll bounce back.